Yeah, glyphosate. I know what that crap meant. So I was like, oh, it's boring. Then one guy was talking about medicinal stuff, and I saw another guy was talking about building computer links. It was just boring. So the thing is, with us, we could talk about those things. We could talk about marriage. We could talk about cars. Talk about we could talk about the weather. So we're unlimited. So for all those who asked those questions, Montgomery, that's what this. Who's watching? That's what it meant. We're unlimited. So if you ever want to be a part of this podcast, you can hit us. You can hit us on the. Somebody just threw that phone at us. I don't know who did.
Me either.
But the thing is, like I said,
my phone is
you know,
on vibrate.
you can talk. We're unlimited our talks. So, like I said, today's podcast will be the topic. Will be, is a woman supposed to be submissive to the man? That's our significant other, husband, or relationship. So the Empress, came with another great topic. I always give her the credit when credit's due. Also, before we start as well, we're eating some great rotel dip. We didn't get on the grill today, but we're eating some great rotel dip. Our daughter Caitlin made great rotel dip. Very good.
Awesome.
And so we kind of indulging before we start. I know we normally kind of let you guys watch us eat or check it out. We'll still check it out, but some great rotels on the table right now. But right now, like I said, Miss Empress Solange is here, and we have Miss Solange here. Director's not here today. Played hooker from school today from the podcast, but I'm quite sure he'll be back next week. We all have issues, so I'm not gonna hold nobody accountable for anything like that. That's just what life is. Everybody have everyday issues. But since the Empress has come up with it, we're gonna go ahead and get this thing started. So, is the woman supposed to be submissive to the man, whether it be a husband or a significant other? What is your thoughts on that?
Okay, so let's talk about it from a biblical standpoint. The biblical standpoint is talking about marriage. That's husband and wife. So we're not going to even get in the context of just relationships, just boyfriend, girlfriend, or significant others. And significant others can be your spouse, but the Bible is speaking directly and primarily about marriage. Okay?
Agree.
So, does the woman supposed to be submissive? Unfortunately, in my experience, and I always speak from my experience because I can't speak for anyone else's experience, right? I can only speak from what I know, what I have seen, what I've been involved with, and seeing other people that I know involved with, right? So I think that word has been taken out of context a lot, and you'll hear a lot of men use it in a form where they're trying to control their wives. That's not what it is meant for. I've heard some men say, you got to do what I want you to do sexually or whatever the situation is, because that's a part of you being submissive to me. That is not what it means. Correct. So we need to clarify that right on this show today, what being submissive actually means in a marriage between a husband and a wife. Okay? So when it comes to doing factual things that we talk about, I try to do my homework so that I can have facts to throw in about what we're talking about. So Ephesians 5:22 through 25, that's the scripture. That is what talks about a woman being submissive to her husband. Okay? But to break it down, what it has said is it presents a unified blueprint for Christian marriage based on mutual devotion, voluntary partnership, and self-sacrificing love. So when men want to throw around about a woman being submissive to them, first of all, are you a leader? So let's talk about that. Are you a leader? Are you loving your wife in the way that it says in the Bible? Because it's three other scriptures behind it that also explains what a husband is supposed to do in this relationship. And it says that a husband is supposed to love his wife sacrificially as Christ did. Yes.
Like Christ loved the church.
Like Christ loved the church. So if you have a husband who is not doing his part and who is not holding up to his part, how dare you say that your wife is supposed to be submissive to you just because you are the husband? No. It is so many things that goes into that. And I never have a problem with being submissive to a man who is doing what he's supposed to do in Christ. If you're not, then we have a problem, and don't ask me to be submissive. That's just what it is, and that's my take on it.
Okay, well, I know Janika probably has something she gets here, but I'm gonna say my part on it. Okay, for one, a lot of the old teachings on that has been thrown out the window. You know, over the years, the example of the husband and the wife, the dynamic is completely
different. Yeah.
Yes, it does say that the wife is supposed to be submissive to her husband, and the husband supposed to love the wife like Christ loved the church. But the thing about it, if he loved the way Jesus loved the church and went to the cross, the man's supposed to be the leader of that family. The wife's supposed to honor that leadership. Well, what happened is a lot of that's gone away because of a lot of teachings from the home. When prime example, let's go back to the old days. Back days you just say honor and obey your husband. I was in a wedding. Not a marriage. I was in a wedding, and I got it. Like everybody invited me to be in all their wedding. Like I had some type of billboard. Hey, you want somebody in your wedding? Call Dexter and his daughter Jasmine. So I was in a wedding, and I literally saw this woman cry and say, "I'm not gonna say I obey him. I'm not." She cried. "I'm not." Her mom was like, "Hey, you know, I'm not. I'm gonna tell no man I obey." And she said that on the over and over and over again.
Wow.
And when she said that, I'm not saying she started a trend, but that's when a lot of it went out the window because the guy was a great guy. I mean, God was a great guy. Matter of fact, she ended up cheating on him and they got divorced. But when you break the laws of what God put in place, you can't help but destruction.
Right.
That the marriage gonna be destructive because your mindset goes in the wrong way. If you go in saying I'm not gonna be submissive to this man, and the man shouldn't go in and say, "Hey, guess what? I'm the man. You clip my toenails, you smear my dirty drawers, and that's what you're supposed to do." Hammer down, judgment. No, we're not supposed to be that way. When Christ loved the church, he loved the church so much he went to the cross for it.
Right.
The man's supposed to do the same for his wife.
Right.
He's supposed to love her so gentle, so delicate. He wasn't thinking about hitting her. He wasn't thinking about cursing her out, calling out her name. He would love her even in her darkest moment. But the thing is, in return, she has to say, you know what? My husband loves this way. I have to follow his lead. She won't let no girlfriend, no mama, no auntie, no ex-boyfriend, no ex whatever, get in her mind and say, you know, that he ain't no good with you. I mean, you should be with me. When you start letting that gets in, the submissive goes out the way because now you're letting that little small branch get into your yard, and then it becomes a tree. And it becomes a tree that grows nothing but bad stuff off of, sticker briars and all that. So the submission goes out the window then when the husband says something, you always got an attitude. You always say it because your mind is focused on something else because submission's got away from the leadership what the husband's giving. If that husband's a great leader, I'm not saying you all are, if he's a great leader, then your love should be honored to looking at him, but he should look at you in the same manner. So, so the thing is, submissive has so many ways, but it's like I said, you shouldn't take it for abuse, and take to the point of feeling that, hey, since since I'm your husband, you do as I say. No, that's not how it works.
No.
So the thing is, we have to understand. If he's a bad leader, then that woman should be able to give him something to put him back in place, to get him back on the right road. And the thing about it, like I said, this woman, he cannot also let no other men get his head to make him feel like he's that king of the jungle. Am I the king of the jungle? Absolutely. No, but the thing is, but I consider myself as a good leader. So the thing is, submission, like I said, I do have a lot more to say, but submission, you can just join us in. I'm going to throw the mic to her, because the name of the topic is, as a woman supposed to be submissive to the man or her husband or significant other. So me as the Empress just gave a little input. Get close to the mic and see what you got to say on that, please. Slide the mic towards you.
I guess my question would be, if the man submitted to God's will.
Absolutely. Come on to it. Come on with it.
If he is not submitted to God's will, then she also has the responsibility to herself to put herself under subjection of God. And if he's not under subjection of God, she can still do the right duties, X, Y, Z. But if that husband is not doing his job as being a leader, then my personal opinion is no. So it's because it's like you're gonna leave me off the cliff, and I'm supposed to willingly jump off this cliff because you said you're gonna jump off this cliff. No, I have common sense. God has given me the free will to submit under you. So before I get married, I'm going to make sure that you are the godly leader before I can submit myself to you.
Absolutely.
Because if you're not that person that I'm willing to submit my will to you, because I have a strong will.
The thing about it is, these days, unfortunately, we've been put in a position to where we have to have a strong will, right?
Not
So we want to go back to the day, like what you were talking about, Dexter. Back in those days, in those times, the husband took care of the household, right? Your wife, if she wasn't a housewife, she may have went out and worked and did some part-time work or something like that. It wasn't like how it is today, where a lot of couples you see it's 50-50. So when we turned that corner to where it became 50-50, that's where the dynamics kind of changed.
Who made it 50-50?
I don't know who made it.
Okay.
But all I know is that,
Mindset. Who made the mindset
I don't know where it came from, but these men these days, a lot of them, I'm not saying all of them, a lot of them are trying to see what you bring to the table financially, and what it's on a 50-50 basis financially. Okay, that's all fine and well. Yes, it takes two people in this economy. It takes two salaries to make it. I get that. But along with that came the change of the dynamics between husband and wife, right? So you're actually putting me on the same level or playing field if you're asking me to meet you halfway with finances. And then, and to be honest, in a lot of situations these days, the woman is the financial breadwinner, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, because times have changed to where there are a lot of jobs that are women centric. There are high paying positions, and that is great. So you, the dynamics flip to where the woman is making more money than the husband. Does that change the dynamics of the makeup of the husband being a leader? No, it doesn't, and it shouldn't. But at the end of the day, what does is what is in the Bible. Mm-hmm. Is that man a leader, a godly leader? Mm-hmm. And is he loving? Because men skip out over that verse, the part that they're responsible for. And the part that they're responsible for is making sure that their wife is taken care of. They're the protector. They're the leader, they're the protector, and to make sure that their wife is taken care of in all of those areas. Emotionally, everything, financially. So just because the woman makes more money, that don't mean that
he's any lesser of a man.
You're any less of a man, or the expectations are less, because it's not. If you're the leader, you're the leader, right? So it's just so many dynamics that play a part of it, but that word has just been used out of context for so long, and it needs to stop. And what we're doing on this podcast today is we're talking about what it really is and how it's supposed to be and how it breaks down. And men want to talk about that first verse, which is verse 22, but it's 3-4 more verses after that, that explains the role of the husband.
Correct.
That's what you need to concentrate on and make sure that you're in line with that and doing what you're supposed to be before you ask your wife to be submissive to you.
Okay, let me piggyback on a lot of that. Let me explain some what you said. First, let's get with saying the woman making more money. Mm-hmm. The dynamic has gotten to the point of when the woman does make more money, her ego changes. And the reason why I say that, because now you got women nowadays, it started years ago really, where I say, well, I don't need no man. I make my own money. I don't need it. And then that got away from the mindset of if that man does come in there and say, hey, let's get married. You know, I've known women that got married, like the men got married to that woman, and the woman said, I ain't need you before I got you, and I don't need you now. When he starts saying, well, let's do this, do this. Mm-hmm. But her disagreement is on that because her mindset was so set, I've been by myself doing this so long, it's hard for her to follow a lead because she was doing it on her own. You know, I know, Janika, I'm not talking about you. Mm-hmm. So the thing is,
I don't pick it back off it.
The thing is that when that man come in and try to be that leader, that woman's mind already set because she's been alone by herself so long, doing all the roles as two people. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, when a man does come in and say, well, hey, let's go this way, a lot of them aren't willing to follow that lead because they've been leading themselves. So when it got into the home, everything starts from the home as well. Mm-hmm. So when it got into the home, I'm going to let's get to you. So when it got to the home of the teachings, or seeing the parents both being a healthy foundation, because the majority of the households now are single parents, they're not being taught that submission. They're following what they see growing up. So when it comes to that woman to be submissive, or that young man who had been taught by his father to be a leader, mm-hmm. you know, first thing he'll think, which I've seen, matter of fact, I saw about a month ago, I saw a young lady get out the car and pump on gas, and that dude sat in the car. I told Chris I started getting there, snatch his butt out, and tell him pump that gas. But guess what? She allowed to happen. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, was he a leader? No, that's not leading. That's failing, because it's no way I'm gonna pull up to a pump unless I'm just dog tired and my feet swollen and stuff like that. I'm probably still gonna limp out, you know. But a lot of times, you know, Krista said I pump gas. But she goes 99% of the time, I'm gonna pump. I taught my son to pump. Now I'm teaching my grandson to pump that. Because guess what? Leadership is taught through the home. That leadership has to be established in that home. This is how you do. This is how you know, your dad should take that woman, her daughters out on a date, show them how they're supposed to be treated. Open the door for them. Should teach their sons how to do that. That's where it's supposed to be. That way, that woman's mind is knowing how a man's supposed to treat her, so she can be submissive to him. But nowadays, you got these guys, good man, little man, give it up. Get the notch money belt. Get all this. So he's trying to become, he can't because he's too busy want to have a woman. That's why young men killing these women. He want to have a woman, have 5 others, then when she want to drop him, then he want to kill her. So the thing is, that the teaching has gone so far away, they close the Bible. They're doing their own self-teaching. So that's between both sides. So the mama's teaching won't get the bag, get him in the meal, and the dad teaches the man, hey, if she got money, hey, let her pay for it. Let her do it. It's time to flip the script. So it's gotten away from the dynamic that God put in place. The word never changed. Right. It's just the people have changed. The teaching have changed. Yes. Because the reason why you having babies. So the thing is, it's got to get back. Like I hear Geno Jennings say, it's got to get back to the Bible. So the thing is, it has to get back to that and being taught that way. If it's not, it's going to keep on failing. Miss Eves, I think you had some. I saw your finger pointing like you in school.
I was going to pick it back up
to the top
after what you were saying about the independent woman, and then meeting a man who's saying X, Y, and Z. Speaking as a single young lady, it depends on what this man is asking. You can present a man with, I ain't gonna say conditions, but like, I'm giving you the opportunity to show me how you lead. And 9 times I can only speak on my experiences. My experiences have been where the guy just wants to get. He wants to get and get and get. And you say, hey, if you present him with a challenge, like, I need X, Y, Z done. Do you mind helping me? And be like, oh, I got, this, that, and the other to come up with. And then that kind of is like, you know what? You just want from me, instead of showing me that you can be a leader, or can I talk to you about certain things? Because now it's also about not only can you provide, but can you also provide the emotional attention that I need? Can you provide the spiritual support that I need? And a lot of times the only thing that a man can provide nowadays is money. And then of course you be like, I don't need your money, but I do need your spiritual guidance. Yes. I do need your emotional support. And those, I can only speak for me, are the biggest things that I would need in my life. Is not just can you be there financially, can you be there emotionally, spiritually? And because that will, even if we're, how they say, stick with your man, even, when he's down in the dirt. Well, some kind of way you have to meet a need. Well, like, I can support you till you get out of it, but if I'm also feeling drained and lonely in that relationship, how am I supposed to respect you as a leader if I'm always feeling alone? If I'm in it all by myself? Yeah, you are the man in the household, true enough, but are you also picking up any of the slack that I would have to pick up?
So let me ask you this question real quick. I want you to get back to this. So you're saying if he's doing all the things he's supposed to do as a leader, as spiritual guidance, as a lover, as a husband, but he gets down to dirt, you're saying you're not going to pick up his emotions?
No, I didn't say that. That's not what I said at all. That's not what I said at all.
She said the complete opposite.
That's not what I said at all. I said if you're down in dirt, I got you. Until you know.
This covers another man, so it'll be 2 of us.
Because at the end of the day, you're doing your part. It's not just like, if I'm, in an emotional state, you're not just saying, I'm finna go over here, you gonna be okay? And you just going about your business, but I'm over here in my feelings, but it's...
Are you willing to let him in if he does come in?
Yeah, again, I'm going to make sure you're that person that can handle those emotional feelings, because again, it's where if I can, back you up emotionally, at some point in time, you're going to have to do the same for me, because if I'm always pouring out myself to you, then what are you pouring into me? Because it's a mutual thing. The relationship between a husband and a wife is like, I pour into you and you pour into me. That's what intimacy feels like. If I know you're having a bad day and I see you're having a bad day, then as you're coming in after a long day, it's like, after a long day, I would like a good home cooked meal ready. Got you. That fills your cup. Right. Those small things do fill your cup, but if the only one that's filling the cup is one side of the person, then of course there's going to be resentment. There's going to be other things that's building or takes away from that leadership role, and that takes away from that power that person is supposed to have as that leadership role, because you're just being the authority figure. You're not being a leader, because a leader also sacrifices.
Right.
This real quick.
Right.
If it's just say if it happened once, is that the all question happened one time?
No, it's not a one-time thing.
I'm saying, but if he does show the emotional commitment, like you were saying, if he does show the leadership one time, he picks it back up. If he have that one flaw, does that kill the whole relationship?
No, it doesn't kill the whole relationship, and at least in my opinion, just whatever circumstances that may have led up to it, is this a repeated pattern? Did I recognize this pattern before this happened? So that's where the two people have to come together, and like we were saying earlier, if they're not based, you don't know who you are in Christ, then how can two come together if y'all don't know who you are individually? Because it's like you have your weaknesses and they have their weaknesses, which means your strengths are their weaknesses. You know what I'm saying? It's like you pick up where they leave off, and it's the vice versa for the other one. It's like the two become one, and if the two are still two and not one in that situation, of course it's going to be a break in leadership, because everybody's trying to be the head.
So the submission goes out the window.
Right, because you're not coming into agreement, because both y'all are already, I'm going to be set in my ways. Well, just like Christ died into himself for us, we have to die into our partner for our own gain. It's a group project.
Yes.
And if it's a single project, then of course leadership is not going to be respected.
I'm going to let you get something. I know you want to. I'm going to say something. And one thing I've seen, and I know a lot of people say, man, he built up to a young generation. I can't help it. I was a young generation. So the thing is, one thing I've seen a lot of is that, and that's the way the young men look at it. A young woman be so submissive to a young man, not even married, but she'll give him full submission. He's running the streets, beating on her, he doing all kind of crazy stuff, talking to her bad, disrespecting, and she would follow that joker to the end. Yeah. It's like it's a mindset trap, because she feels it's love. I don't know if it's sex or what it is, or just the mindset control. But then you got that young man who's following Christ, who wants to show her this, and she'll back him away. She'll say, this is what I want, but she'll still run back to the ignorance.
Yes.
So the thing is, like I said, I still say they're going by the example of what they're being taught. They're not taught to be submissive. Back in the old days, they taught you get a husband, this, you take care of how to take care of this. You get a job, make sure you work all the while. But like you said, at that point in time, a lot of men feel if they paying all the bills, like you said, they don't have to put no emotion, because I've got to provide you a house, provide you a roof over your head, which is honorable. But like you said, it takes more than that, because at the end of the day, both of you are humans, both of you got feelings. And the thing is, once you show that leadership, if that wife see you get up every day praying, see you get up every day taking care of the house, see you get up every day, hey, your car broke down, I'm going to fix your car, see you putting gas in the car, yes, then that woman should honor that man and say, you know what, I got a real king here. I want to make sure I take care of him.
Right.
But like I said, some days she's going to feel down. He has to be the one to come in and say, you know what, baby, look, don't worry about it, take care of it. He'll go in there and cook the meal, do all this stuff. It's going to happen all the time? No, but those times there build that ground of submission even stronger. Because now, if some girl say, hey, look, we should go to the club, so she said, I'm going to stay home. You stay home, you didn't get out. But the thing about it is, she looking like, hey, let me speak to my husband about it. Hey, the girls from training go out. Hey, it's up. Like you said, they come to a common agreement. She'll know when she get there, it'll make her feel uncomfortable. She say, you know what, somebody here, no man, I gotta go.
Right.
Now she come there and just laughing and joking and all that. But if somebody try to approach her, she say, you know what, I got somebody. Then you know, of course, the man say, hey, he ain't here. Which you here for? See, he in it for the game. That's the one who he'll be a single man for a long time. Then he'll get one. He'll get him one that ain't submissive. He'll get him one of the ones that sit here and take all his money, and he'll wonder why. So I had a friend of mine like that. I can't call names. Like, I want to, but I signed the NDA to myself.
Right.
So ain't that right, Stanley?
That's right.
Stanley tell a lot of good jokes. Why are you funny? He said he know a couple of cups like that too. So the thing is, what? Oh yes, she tried to tell another one. He was saying a joke about a straw. But You know, I knew a bunch of friends of mine like that. You know, they would get some of the they would get some of the craziest women that had no respect for themselves. But he was thinking more about the sex than what he could get out of it in the end. And guess what happened? He was paying them all, giving them all kind of money and all this stuff. And I used to tell her, I said, Doc, she don't care what you giving her. Nah, man, you know, she good. I know I can change it. You can't. Look here. If you don't know how to change a tire, how you gonna get it off? You can't change a tire. How you gonna change a woman? You can't. If you can change her, she would have to submit herself to God. You have to submit yourself to God. Then you have to come to a common prayer ground. Rebuke those spirits. Get yourself together in the church. Get washed in the water. Commit yourself to Christ and live with God life and get all the other people out your life. That's the only way. Other than that, you think you're gonna sit here and buy her a car, you know, get her car clean every week, give her $100, get her nails done every week, and all that stuff. You're a sugar daddy, whether you know it or not. There is no submission. But you think since you're doing that, she should submit everything. Oh, baby, look what I did. I got you hot dog, put tires on your car, I took you to Ruth Chris one time, you know, and he'll think all that. So be a submission, and that's not how it works. That's just a one-way relationship to me.
Right.
You're not in a submission, but most men think that if they get the hair done, nails done, this and other, then they'll find out she got somebody else because she's in the game. That's not, like you said, it has to be through the Christ. It has to be agreement. It has to be a committed love. If it's not that, because he would follow, like I said, he would follow Christ. He would show the leadership. He would love her so delicate that if she's sick, he's sick. You know, if she's tired, you know what? I'll make sure she gets some rest. Now the submission comes in because now she's honoring what you're doing and following your leadership. Now she's saying, you know what? Like you said again, I'm going to say it again. Now I have this king I've been waiting for so long. So the other woman who ran all over coming and said, oh, that's what it'll be about. But guess what? Now he's found his peace. He's found his queen. So the thing is, once he gets that queen, then that queen will honor him submiss because she's saying, you know what? I don't want nobody but him.
Right.
But when your mindset, young ladies and young men, I can't say one side. If your mindset is still focused on another man outside their marriage, guess what? You'll never be committed because all you think about what you can do when you get away from your original man. You wait on him to make a mistake. As soon as he make a mistake, I'm calling Junebug. And Junebug gonna be there, answer the phone. Ain't the right standard.
Okay.
This joke says so many good jokes.
It's a comment while you're talking to Stanley.
Oh, let me see.
Tasha.
Tasha Meekson.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tasha Meekson said, I think that the 50-50 has always been in play. My parents/grandparents had the man as the breadwinner and the mom as the woman as the homemaker. I think we looking at 50-50 as financial instead of contributions.
Okay.
I agree with that.
You know what? Next time, Tash, we're gonna get the TV put up, and we're gonna let you join in live from your house. We can do that.
Yes, we can do that. So to kind of speak on that, yes. So that's the way it was set up back in the day. The husband was the breadwinner, and the wife was the homemaker. That is what was expected. That is how life was, and that's the way it was back in the day. But today, unfortunately, it has turned to the financial 50-50, right? Men are looking at the women to see what they have in their bank account, what their credit scores are, what they can bring to the table. Are they matching them? To me, I just don't. So that's where it's gone. It's gone to financially. It hasn't gone to I'm the breadwinner. My wife or who I'm seeking to date is going to be the homemaker. That's not what it is. That's not what the expectations are from the beginning. From the beginning.
Whereas, like I said again, Where does that come from?
I
But
don't
then
know
back in
where
the
it
day,
came from.
you also had women in situations where they had no choice. They, like now that we have a choice, either we're going to be in this bad relationship or not. Back then, they did not have a choice. Back then, was the 1970s that women actually were able to get bank accounts on their own while they're in an abusive relationship. So they had no recourse but to stay there. And that wasn't submission, that was obligation. So you had these kids that you had to take care of, but you also have this man that's coming and beating on you every night and still expecting you to do everything under the sun. So now I also think that when women did get the ability to say, hey, I can do this for myself because of this situation. It wasn't for, because I don't want this man in my life or want a man in my life. It was because of safety issues. Like, I want to be alive the next day. I do not want to get beat on every night because I burnt the bread or the children are crying. So there is a social aspect that has not been in play, because I don't think also people have checked those men who were doing the abuse. They was like, well, you're just gonna have to suck it up because that's your husband and you're gonna have to do that.
Oh, of course.
So it's like, I don't know, a catch-22 where it's like you want to be in this relationship, however you don't want to be beat on, you don't want to be abused. And that's where the women now, that's where the feminist movement has come into play, because now I do have a choice over my body. I do have a choice on how much money I'm going to make. Am I going to be in this relationship? Because if you hit me, I know I have brothers, but I know if you hit me, it's going to be something.
And to even answer your question, kind of, sort of, is where did the breakdown start? I guess when the men stopped being in the household. I guess we can kind of start there, because if a man is not in the household to teach a young man how to be a leader, then that's a problem, because your mother can't teach her son
To be a man.
how to be a man.
Correct.
Right? I could teach you how to love a woman, how to respect a woman, what you should do, and I can even give you tips on how to be a leader in your household. I can give you tips on that, right? But have you seen that from a man's perspective? So when society, the government, or whatever started taking our men out of our households, that's what started to change the dynamics, because our sons didn't get to see that. And that's what we're dealing with today. So now all they know is they see their mother, who is a single mother, who is going out there working and making it happen without the man being in the household. So now they're seeing that. So they think that that's what life is supposed to be. That's normal. So let's start there. The men not being in the household.
But, and I agree with that. A lot of the men were taken away because of how the rules became. But the thing is, back in the day, you were taught, and it was, in the Bible, you're not supposed to get a divorce. That's why a majority of women stayed there, even through the abuse. But the other men was teaching, and a lot of women said back then, a man gonna be a man. Well, see, when it came to that, it made his mindset thinking, well, I go run the streets, she gonna be here when I get back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then
because you taking care of home.
Here's where I think the abuse started, when he gets home, and she don't want to submit to him because she has feelings as well.
Absolutely.
That's even both sides. Who wants to be with somebody? You be with somebody. You got their spirit on you, your spit on you, your everything on it. You bring it to me. So the trust is broken. Once the trust starts,
that part.
all submission goes out the window, because it's making you feel like I'm submissive, but I'm not good enough because you went and got somebody else.
Right.
But he's still coming home because he's like, I'm coming home anyway.
Right.
Because she ain't gonna divorce me. And I think that's when a lot of that start breaking the dynamics of marriage. Because the devil has a way to work his way through everything. So guess what? Throw a woman at the man, guess what? He took the woman. So now your marriage is torn up. Now the bond is broken.
Yes.
So when that bond is broken, the trust is gone. So that can't be no submission, because there's no trust.
Right.
So now he feels, oh, she ain't paying attention. Okay, I'll just go upside the head. I'm gonna beat it out. You be submissive, which is wrong. So now the hate gets even more. Now the woman wants to leave, And then if the woman leaves, first thing he want to do is kill her. But you know for a fact, I got a good woman. But you don't admit you messed over. You messed over that good woman. I know several friends of mine had great women, and they ran all over because they felt that they could do what they want and still come home and have a happy home. But the thing about it doesn't work that way. So the thing is, I know a lot of fellas, man, look, I'm just being real. It doesn't work that way. If you go out there and start kissing and licking all that stuff for another woman, bring that spirit back home, that wife don't want that. You gotta think, you come home 3 in the morning, where you been, bowling that clothes at 11. Outside the bowling alley, they put a ring outside. It's always an excuse. And like I said, a lie's a bad thing to say, because you a liar. I'm gonna tell you about a liar. A liar don't know if they lie about the second time. They'll tell you that one lie, the next day they'll tell you a totally different thing, and the next one. Hey, I was out bowling the next day. Hey, now why you take so long to get home? I was out there working on a car. So the thing is, not a lie come, you correct them a lie, then they get mad, they don't want to bust them upside the head, catch them in a lie. So the thing is, I think that dynamic took a lot away from it. Like I said, when it took the man out of the household, or when they got divorced, that structure of that took away from leading and trying to teach these men how to be a leader. Because nowadays,
no one was there to teach them.
And nowadays, it's on site, my homeboys, all this. You and a lot of them think having babies is making them a great man. I make a great man. Not having babies, you ain't have raising them babies, because now they raise themselves. Cause you remember back, you see when Facebook started, you see the little 8-year-old or 6-year-old with earring in the ear, rapping, and all the guys there rapping with him. You teaching him to be what he gonna be in the future. He ain't showing no respect for a woman. He rapping a song he ain't got no business to at the age of 5 or 6.
And to just even like, I was raised in the 70s and 80s, right? So just to even like look at the evolution of women from my standpoint as a child, so I saw the dynamics between my grandparents, and this is exactly what we said. The woman was the homemaker, the husband was the breadwinner, right? Those women, I pay so much homage to them, and they went through a lot, and they took a lot. And even just as going through life is coming up through the times of dealing with segregation and everything else that played a part in that, right? And women's suppression and all of that played a part in how our grandmothers and were raised, and how they built their families or their family lives with their husbands, right? I say this all the time, and I've told the story. My grandmother, Hazel Sanderson, she was like the sweetest, my dad's mother, the sweetest woman walking on earth that I had ever seen. Angelic. Her husband, which was, not my biological grandfather, but her husband for many, many, many years. He raised my dad and his siblings, and they had a daughter after my their youngest child they had together. The meanest man in the entire world. Do you hear me? And I remember as a child, like, saying, how, why, I don't understand. I just don't understand. Because when I tell you, I'm talking about rattlesnake mean, I'm talking about spitting at the children, grandkids, us, all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Lord forgive me, y'all, if my family members are on here, but I'm just being honest, right? I just remember as a child just trying to figure out why my grandmother stayed, because she was just the sweetest person in the world. And so seeing those dynamics, and then seeing how when my mom and my father separated, my mother growing into this independent woman because she had to be at that point, right? Raising her 2 daughters and doing it by herself. So then you start to see where the women turn with the independence, becoming more independent. My father was not in the household at that point. Granted, it was just 2 girls. My mom didn't have any boys. But that's where it started. That was in the 70s and 80s. So those years is when we started to see, it was so much going on in the 70s with our dads, right? It was just a lot. You had Woodstock, you had so many drugs and stuff introduced into our communities, and it was just a lot. So that's when our fathers started going to jail and being taken out of the household. But just seeing that as a child, that's when I started to see the dynamics change. It was kind of like in the mid 70s was when the fathers started being taken out of the households, and it started turning that corner to more independent women.
Well, I agree with that, because, like I said, when the father is out of the household, the leadership leaves. But if, like I said, I have to speak on one side of my family, like I said, which side. But I was told about, my grandfather uncle was so mean that when he died, the wife didn't go to the funeral. Seriously. So
I've seen it.
So the thing is, how can somebody be like that? For one, like I said, it's a spiritual thing that starts inside their spirit. Because you just don't become that evil overnight.
No.
And then you've been taught that. So the thing is, that's why, a lot of people say, man, he got such a great son, because he was taught that way.
Right.
You gotta respect kids that was taught that way. So the thing is, did they do a lot of things different? I didn't like them, of course. But you teach them to a certain point, to when they get old, they can take it with them. As God's, Scripture said, teach child to go, they go to depart from it. But when they get around those influential friends, and that's men or women, it takes the dynamic out of everything that's in this book. So, and you'll know the difference if you say, hey, I'm gonna go to church next. Oh man, that's the day I gotta paint my dog toenails, because they'll make up an excuse. You know for a fact is that the type of friend you're gonna follow. But you got this commitment to friendship, so loyal, you don't think about your spirit or your soul going to heaven. Okay, will you be with a woman, treat her right, because your friends come in and tap your whole dynamic. So a lot of the raising through the parent household went from parents, when they became separated and divorced, to friends. Because your friends make you think like, I got your back. And really, one of the worst ones you can have.
That's when the gangs and all of that stuff start coming into play.
Gang and play, you tell me shit. And you think
you're searching. Our young men, they search for that, what they can relate to as men. And if they're in a family that doesn't have that strong leadership or role model as a man, they search for that. So that's when they seek out gangs and stuff like that, because they don't have it at home. They don't have it around them to even see the positive role models from men, right? So
and I'm probably gonna say, and it kills me. I say kills me. Change that shit. It behooves me.
Okay,
that's a good word.
That's a good word.
Behooves. Is that right, Stanley?
That's
Stanley.
Yeah.
So 2 men. Anyway, so it behooves me that when I see all these young girls. I have to call them girls. They're not really ladies. Hang around all these young thug guys with no type of purpose, and they will fall into the end because that's how they they feel being with that type of thing, that type of situation is love, and it's not. Matter of fact, I was in the AutoZone the other day. The lady come out there. That's why y'all this and this, and he come out just left. I'm like, the man asked you a question about the part. He said, y'all brought a part back, no receipt, not in the system. And the young lady was trying to convince him to get her money back. He said, this is not what you got. And she put on the biggest show, and he sat there and laughed with her. What kind, I was saying, hold on a minute, chill out. We ain't got the receipt, we'll come back. But you were trying to come, but my point I'm making is, her attitude is worse than his.
Yeah.
And he pulled his pants all the way down from the shoelaces. And the thing is, that's what you going by. They jumped in the car. She stuck a foot out the window. They laughed. Man, he's stuck. And I'm like, this is what we dealing with our children. What you think the children gonna follow? That same example. It's not being taught. Hey, let's be decent. Let's be this. Let's be that. And as soon as they get arrested, the white man taking me down. But guess what? Don't get a bunch of racist cops out there. I've had my experience with them. But the thing is, trust me, I have. But the thing is, it's way, my mom said, "Well, you carry yourself, how people gonna treat you." So the thing about it is, if you carry yourself in a rough, crazy manner, what do you think you're gonna get back in return? You can't be a ruffian, be out of line, be a disobedient man, be all out of control, be loud, be a thug, then expect to be treated like a joke. So guess what? That young lady looking at your leadership.
Right.
He a ruffian. And a lot of them love them ruffians. I don't be a ruffian. You put the hand inside the head. And that's what they like. Because they got away from the teacher. You got a mama who just acted just as young as you are. So the thing is, what do you put inside these men who want to be a leader and be submissive? That's what we got away from. And the ones who are decent, the friends trying to make them out of them. So, and then they walk away from, man, you want nothing anyway. You know why? Because he can't understand what his goal is. He's looking for a wife. He's looking for someone, like I said, when she's down, he can pick her up. When he's sick, she's sick. When she's sick, he's sick. That's what he's looking for. He ain't looking for somebody to come in there, with a half her butt sitting in the air and, she talking, all this yang stuff. I mean, how can you take that home? But, a lot of them do. I ain't got nothing to do with that. That's your preference. Don't get mad with me, y'all. It's just a podcast. We feel it, saying our opinions. But, almost facts. But the thing is, we've got away from teaching leadership and teaching commitment and teaching roles and having a healthy marriage, which that's completely gone. Nobody opened the Bible to teach that anymore.
And let's kind of tap in on that. So along with taking the men out of the household, we also took Christianity out of the household.
Out of schools.
Out of the schools. Yes. So that all plays a part in it. So just even speaking on the evolution of women, like I said, my grandmother and my great grandmother went to church every Sunday. They made sure we were in church every Sunday, right? So we've gotten away from that. And I can sit up here and honestly say I didn't have my kids. I ain't make my kids go to church. Because at that point, it's not that spirituality wasn't important to me, but as a single mother, single parent, or just these days, and the man not being there, your focus became more of trying to make sure my kids were okay financially, trying to make sure that my household was okay financially. We were more focused on the financial needs of our kids more than the spirituality needs. And I'm woman enough to say that I fell victim to that. I didn't raise my kids up in the church because I had to go get it, and that was more important to me. And even if I was on a job where I did have the weekends off, guess what? That Sunday I was tired because I'm trying to make up for two incomes. You understand what I'm saying? So we took that away from our boys, being able to see the leaders in the church, the deacons, and the members of the pulpit, how their teachings, we took that away from our boys as well. So it's a lot of things that have happened over the decades that can add to the reason why our young men are the way that they are, and we have to acknowledge it and take responsibility for it. And now I guess we're in the position to where we're looking at what can we do to change it. What can we do to turn that curve back around to where the young men are being taught to be leaders? What can we do about it?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like you said, and a lot of them, I was telling a young man at one of my jobs I got 2 jobs. Anyway, at the one, I was telling one young man, I said, hey, do this. Man, ain't got time for all that, man. Look here, I'm just trying to get paid. Okay, I'm trying to show you how to get paid. You got to do a job. But, man, I ain't got to be here. You fill the application out. I tell him, the same thing I tell him. I said, nobody came to the house and said, hey, look, where your son at? He on the couch. Well, get to the work. Get here now. Man, want this job? You getting it. No, you filled it out. So guess what? A lot of them want to walk around and get free money. So the thing is, nobody's not teaching them that, like I said, the man out the household, teach them how to work hard.
Right.
Because you know what? They see the mama doing all that. So they figuring, hey, I give you one who got finances.
My girl
That's where
gonna do
that dynamic comes
for
from.
real. I'm gonna meet a girl who like my mama. You mirror my mama. She the hard worker.
Right. and that's what you said when it comes to, like you said, the man looking for that financial because that's where it comes from, that single household.
Yeah.
And like you said, that mother doesn't have time to take him to church because she's working here Sunday. That's her second job. If she's off on weekend, stand up, she don't let them fly get them. So, dirty mind, don't it? So the thing is, that's where that comes from, is when that emulates, hey, man, look, my mom did all, but hey, find me one making money too.
Yeah.
That's not taught the leadership.
Yeah.
And then, when the daddy does come around, he got to the point where they don't think about the child, they think about their bitterness against each other.
Yeah.
If you let that dad come around, he might have been a great guy. Y'all just had a disagreement.
Yeah.
Let him teach that son.
Yeah.
Let him be, but the mama's so bitter. Oh, you got another woman, you ain't got to be around my child. And that's not the way it works. You both moved on. You got somebody, he got somebody. He can't see the child because you better. Take the business away and think about the kid. That way, like I said, that's where, like I said, a lot of submission still come out of, because the separation in that home. Because, like you said, if that man was a leader and that love was strong, then putting about in this relationship, neither party, then guess what? There'll be a strong household, strong kids. If you look, a lot of the strong kids set up came doctors and teachers and lawyer, all that type of stuff. I'm just everybody name those first. You'll see this 2-parent household. Some of them are single because some of them lost their husband in a way, or they still co-parenting strong. So the thing is, but the ones you see that just got out of control, the mom trying to come back control, he talking words to the mama. And Miss E could testify that going in the school system. He's talking worse to the mama than anything the ex-husband was doing. So the thing is, but like you said, as a matter of fact, I went to Blunt one year to get my daughter's, pay one of my daughter's fees. And this, I think, Jerome Woods just got there. And because the lady before that, I can't think her name. She was there before, and them kids was out of control. But this boy came in here, and I mean to tell you, he was talking all kind of, mom came, he boomed on, well, Jerome Woods came out there office. When he put snatched a knot in that kid and told him straighten up, took him in that back, that boy came out, and he came out mad. But he went right behind him. He told mom, you let him talk to you like that. He good, okay. Now the mom gave him an excuse. You know why? Because she's terrified of him. So now, he put him in line. The boss called him, yes sir, before it was over. And I walked back because he said, yes sir, yes sir. But even though he was doing an aggressive way, but he was still giving that respect. But the thing is, like I said, he had to put him in place because the mama said, I work 2 jobs by myself. I'm gonna try to see if I could. She said, I'm gonna try to see if I can get in touch with his dad.
I see.
And like you said, when the man got out the household, when the dynamics got out the household, there was no leadership, no submission. there was no raising the kids properly. Not saying a lot of single parents can't do it. I was a single parent, but the thing is, for a little while, and but I still kept the same structure because I had both parents. So both of those was in me, and I put both those in the way. But a lot of stuff I couldn't teach. Like I said, there's cycles and all that, crystal and all that. So I knew my part. They hated where I come to have. They went to school, and so. And we got free lunch. Right. That's all I care about. And they make good grades. But like you said, you do have some of those strong women that can maintain a household. But like you said before, some parts that they just can't do. Some part of man can do. I can't teach a woman a lot of stuff. I don't try to. I know my role. I know my part. And I think a lot of men need to learn that. When it ain't your part, guess what? Walk out the way. Let the mama do that. But it's the same thing the other way. When it comes to that young man, walk out the way. But a lot of women try to say, look, I taught myself. Matter of fact, I was coaching. I promised that y'all come. You got to wrap it up. I was coaching, and I was going to teach this young man how to, hit. Also in basketball, the mom jumped the court. I teach my own son. I teach me at home. And the ball was horrible. So when the mom come to me, she said, my son played bad. I said, because you teach him at home. I said, I saw you teach him outside the court. And she went all this stuff, how she was singing, Mama, you can't take this and other. And I just looked at her. I'm like, here's the deal. I get your kids 2 days a week. You won't make him Steph Curry and dress like him. That won't make him Steph Curry. Every time I try to show him something, you coming on sideline trying to make yourself look like a strong parent by trying to show him how to
really? Fashionably late.
Told on Atlanta time, y'all.
Right.
We can't stretch this podcast on 30 minutes. We gotta get a comment in.
Let me shout out Mr. Woods though, because Jerome and I, we went to school from elementary school, so I say 5th grade because I think that's when he just got him and his mom just moved here up through the 8th grade, and then he went to Murphy in the 9th grade. His parents were how he was with that young man. Yeah, that's how he was taught. Because his daddy didn't play the radio. Yeah. Period. His mom, his mother was very fierce as well, but that's how he was raised, and that's what he saw. Coach Woods,
he referees too. He's okay referee.
Coach Woods was one of our PE teachers and coaches at May Eames, and he was tough, but he was fair. Oh, yeah. And so that's where Jerome learned that from, and and I'm sure as a principal at Blunt, he's able to instill that in his students. And I just wanted to say that. That
goes back, and I'm going to let Tony finish wrap it up. That goes back to what I was saying. It's taught from the where? The household. See, like you said, he got it from his dad. You see what I mean? So the submission lies wide open where it's not coming from a structured home. So the thing is, I think if those, like I said, I know if he got back to that, and these young ones got out this mindset of its own sight and this and other, say less. I get it, man. It ain't about to take somebody's life.
Right.
It ain't all about
shouldn't be.
Cause like I said, that's why these young men. I saw the other day with a young man, girlfriend broke up with him. He broke in the house, stabbed in the head, killed him. And,
when you take a life, you give your life. So it's the same.
I'm gonna slide the mic over here to Tony. The subject, Tony. Tony is the subject. I'm gonna let you wrap it, and I'm gonna close it out. You got something else to say, Ms. Eads? One thing, you good? Okay, all hearts clear on her side. The question is a woman supposed to be submissive to her man or significant other husband in a relationship?
What a way to come in on something. It comes at being a good partnership. I think that's what it's all about.
Keep talking.
Being a good partnership, you know. Yes, you know, the man is the head of the house, but all decisions are just not made because he's the head of the household. You got to have that discussion with your partner first, whether y'all right or wrong. But you know, you at least got to come up with some kind of compromise agreement with the situation, you know. But yeah, that's what I think it is. It's a great partnership with each other. You know, hey, you can't sit up there and hold a grudge because of one person is this way and one person saying it that way. You know, no, you still got to make a decision, whether it's right or wrong. You know, don't make that decision of your own, because then you got another problem. You know, and that destroys a lot of relationships, a lot of marriages, a lot of friendship. You know, about
it's communication, basically, right?
Exactly, communication. You know, if something is going on, hey, let's discuss it. Let's talk about it, and that way we can come up with a solution about how we should do this thing, or how we should say this, or whatever the situation might be. You know, so that is my take on it. You know, having a good partnership. You know, communication. It's the whole key to a whole relationship.
To everything,
you know?
right?
No matter what you might think something is wrong, that you did wrong, or blah blah, or when somebody else did wrong, or whatever. Still communicate with each other.
Absolutely.
Have that communication. You know. And that'll take your relationship a long way.
Right.
Keep your household clean, down, you know, at a calm level. You know, a level being 100, you know.
Right.
Hey, keep the household calm and clean, you know.
Absolutely.
That's my take on that situation. And y'all was talking about Mr. Woods. Yeah, I think he's a great guy. Great principal over at Blunt, you know. He have done a lot for that school.
Yeah.
As program wise.
Yeah, absolutely.
You make sure those students, hey, they're on top of the game, you know. Academic wise, he had that school in order.
Yeah.
As of where the children's are going this year, you know, where they going after they finish school.
Right.
School, you know. And I think he does a great job over there. Yeah, that's my take on that thing.
Okay. Well, you know, like I said, we're gonna give Tony just get off the plane. That's what it was. That's why he.
Jet lag.
But yeah, we're about to wrap this up. Like I said, great topic about the Empress again. She's been hitting 100. Like I said, everyone continue to follow this podcast, spread it out. Like I said, I got a few people in Montgomery. They subscribe to YouTube. Some of them don't have Facebook. But like I said, every Wednesday, this podcast here will post Wednesday. We're going to get some of them cut down to short snippets so you can see those. Like I said, we thank for all the followers and all the listeners. We're getting a lot of consistent people, and I see we're growing. That's all thanks to you guys. And like I said, we come straight MLBLE-Al. We got another great topic coming up next week. I got a call this morning. I'm going to reiterate again. A lot of people didn't hear it. One topic, the guy said, it woke me up. He said, he said, I want you to talk about this. He said, other people supposed to be able to chastise your children. So that's going to be a pretty good topic. You know, I also had a guy hit me on Messenger and said, talk about, diabetics, how to handle their dynamics, eating and all that. Right. Another great topic. I think we definitely going to put those two in place. So, we got a lot of people getting more and more involved in the podcast. A lot of people watching. Got a little technical difficulty with AI. Oh God, y'all don't understand what I'm going through with this AI thing. They're blocking a lot of viewers. We had viewers from Iceland and Canada and all that. Those people being blocked, but I'm gonna take care of that. That's why the past 4 weeks, those people have been shooting messages and saying they can't see the podcast. I don't know what AI is trying to do, but I'm not gonna let them put us in a bonded trap again on that. But thanks again, everyone. Thanks for Empress, Miss E, and the ref. We just got off the plane on Atlanta time. Of course, Chris behind all the wheels and steels back there. Had a lot of programming, all the camera work. Like I said, also shout out to Miss Easley. What's her last name? Miss Gwen, consistent watching her and all the rest of her family. We thank you. So
Thank y'all.
Thank you. That's the Empress mom, folks.
Gwen Easley.
Shout out. And also, this is the last thing I want to say. Yesterday we took Aaliyah to the Gulfport Zoo over there. We went to this little place my son found online called Rocking Chicken and Waffles. Mr. Milton runs this place. Woo! Put it in my veins. I'm telling you, everybody need to go there. It's a little place in the corner. Parker, I got the picture. I wish I put it in before. It's called Rockin' Chicken and Waffles. When I say the chicken's so crispy and juicy, and those waffles, you could eat without syrup. But it's a small meal, but it got some great food, great customer service. Only got 3 tables in there, but they made room for us. And I mean, tell you, we're fans. We'll drive a little 45 minutes an hour go over there. Right. It's called Rocking Chicken and Waffles. Please go check it out. I'm telling you, you won't regret it. If you're ever in the Gulfport area, Rocking Chicken and Waffles on Pops Fair Road. I can't think of the numbers. 4020 Old Pops Fair Road. Go there, trust me. Also shout out to my guy Josh Amaco. All your mechanic needs, go out there on Schindler Road. But as always, like I said, when the spatula goes down and the keys, podcast is over. All right, y'all, be good. Till next Sunday.